Very good, gentlemen. We will begin our presentation. And Mr. Murdoch, please take it away. Hopefully you can see the presentation, Preparing for Capital Projects, and we'll get going.
All right, my name is John Murdoch, and I'm with the Kalos Group. We're based in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I've been working with fraternities and sororities for the past 30 plus years, and founded a company that provided accounting and financial management for Greek organizations that we later sold to Omega Phi in 2018. We began providing property management in 2007 and construction management in 2012. We have been involved in over $300 million in projects and completed over $150 million in project management. All of our projects to date have been successful. Alan?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you able to see the Are You Ready screen?
Yeah, you were just gonna, everybody was gonna introduce themselves first.
Oh, very good. I'm Alan Lutz with Alpha Fraternity Management. We've been professionally managing fraternities for 17 years now, currently working on 81 campuses in 21 states and 2 provinces of Canada. We also do construction management and help groups with real estate and accounting and financial issues. So nice to meet you, gentlemen, and hopefully we can answer all your questions. Steve?
I'm Steve Ratterman. I'm with CSL Management. I'm the founding partner and CEO. CSL provides management services, construction and accounting services as well, just as my friends at Alpha and Kalos do. Been involved in this market for over 15 years and got a good track record across about 150 campuses that we work on across the United States.
A lot of work, Steve.
John, take it away.
All right, we got a lot to cover and not much time to do so, so I'm just going to hit it straight away. Are you ready for a capital improvement project? The number one thing we hear from people all over the country when they consider a capital improvement project is, hey, I need to call a fundraising company. I need to call Pennington, or I need to call Columns, or whoever your fundraiser is. And I will submit to you that that is absolutely not what you need to do first. So the first thing we suggest that chapters do is to establish or enhance an alumni communication program, providing at least semi-annual professional newsletters, a professional website, and social media presence. We don't recommend that chapter members be responsible for this. It should be done in a professional manner. Usually we recommend that you have a paid professional that does it for you. People my age, people of the giving age, 40 to 80, are Facebook users, so let's don't ignore that, although that's not the primary use of undergraduates' time. So it's very, very important that we tell our good news. And as Rob said earlier, we've got challenges, and it's not a problem to go ahead and address those challenges so that you can adequately face them. The second thing we recommend, and Alan's going to talk about this a little bit later in his presentation too, is to adopt a market-based pricing model. The number one threat, I think, to Greek housing nationwide is our inability to price our business structures according to what the market is. Who sets the market? Typically, the universities in your town set the market rate. So you should always charge at least what they do, keeping in mind what these student housing complexes are charging in your area. We try not to recommend that we compare ourselves to the fraternities in our market because we have found that the fraternities that we work with price their business products, their services, meals, room rent, housing, that kind of thing, at half the price of what they should be charging. So let's don't compare ourselves to other fraternities in your area. If you aren't using a market-based pricing model, get on one. It may take a couple of years to get to where you're going. You can't go up, you know, a lot of money in the first year, but over a 3-year period, you should be able to get to what the market is. Thirdly, let's ensure our organizational documents are up to date. This includes chapter bylaws, corporation articles of incorporation, and that you're up to date with the Secretary of State. The reason we do this, the first thing people ask for when you go for a loan is, where are your articles? What do your bylaws say? Are you up to date with the state? So it takes a while sometimes to get these things done. So you want to go ahead and get started on those things. 4, ensure your chapter and house corporation are up to date with their 990 tax filings. Every organization, regardless of size, has to file an annual 990 return. So let's make sure that those are up to date and current. Also ensure that your tax exemption for your house corporation and your chapter are in good standing. You guys may be amazed how many chapters lose their status simply by not filing. You can lose your status by not filing 3 consecutive years without really any notice from the IRS. So keep those current. If you've lost your status, we've got people that can help you reinstate your status. 5, build functioning boards. You got to have a functioning, good chapter advisory board. The best chapters are going to have, you know, a team of advisors that help them on the fraternity level to be good leaders in the chapter. A good house corporation board is essential. Not 1 or 2 man groups, but have at least 5, maybe 7 guys, but not a whole bunch of people on your house corporation board. If you're going to be in a capital campaign, you'll want to build a capital campaign board. And this would include not necessarily people from the chapter advisory board or house corporation board, but other well-known people in your alumni base that can help you raise the money you need. And for alumni association, you want to keep your members connected to your chapter to keep them coming back around. So they'll be involved and maybe give you good contributions. Don't overlook your national relationships or national relationship with the national headquarters, both on the foundation level, chapter services level, and alumni affairs level. They'll really help you through your process. And finally, consider project consultants. That would include a group like us who would help you, work through the project development, develop your project, what you're going to do. Might be a team of architects help you to design what you're planning to do with your facility. So
thank you, John. I'll provide just a very brief overview of your finances and 4 key items that metrics that you should be considering. The first metric is you need to budget to fully maintain your chapter house. Most of the groups that we begin working with don't fully understand the true cost of what it takes to keep a chapter house competitive year in and year out. Additionally, you need to budget to properly maintain the chapter house. It costs 5 times more if you wait until things break. So you should have a monthly preventative maintenance schedule, contracts with professional service providers to do this work. And as a rule of thumb in looking at a typical budget, if you consider the replacement cost of your facility, and you can get that replacement cost from your insurance broker or your insurance provider, that's what they base your property insurance rates on. But for maintaining your property, we would suggest that you look at a budget in the range of 1.5 to 2.5% of the replacement cost of your house as an annual budget for maintenance and repair. And similarly, we believe in a model where you continue to keep your housing at a competitive level throughout the year-to-year basis and operations of your house, not do a big remodel renovation and let the house get run down over a period of 10 or 15 years and then have to renovate it again. So again, as a benchmark, be looking at in the neighborhood of 3 to 5% of your replacement value of your structure for a typical capital improvement and replacements budget. Those are 2 key things to plug into your budget: maintenance and repairs and a replacement improvement budget that will help you better understand your true costs. Now add that to your utilities, taxes, insurance, mortgage, all of that. That'll really give you a good idea of what sort of income you need to be bringing in order to properly support and sustain your chapter house. Certainly chapter houses that are older are going to take more to keep up. Newer structures may not, but remember that in 5 to 7 years, even if you have a new structure or a recently remodeled structure, you're going to have to begin that cycle of updates and improvements at that point. And then the next thing that John touched on is we have to charge competitive rental rates compared to campus. And John hit it on the head. Don't compare yourself to other fraternities. Compare yourself, if you need to just make sure you're double checking your rent is within the reasonableness of the market. Compare yourself to the dorm rates, matching similar room occupancies, meaning single, double, and triple, with similar bathroom styles. That's how the universities price their housing, whether it's a private single bathroom, whether it's a shared bathroom with another suite, or whether it's a hall common area bathroom. So you can compare apples to apples with your dormitory costs. You should be at least at 95%, if not even or above what the dormitories are charging for comparable amenities. And you'll also have your members and their parents comparing your costs to apartments. In that case, you know, we do a comprehensive market analysis, but if you're just trying to see where the market is, you know, take a look at 10 two-bedroom apartments that would be suitable for 2 people. Find out what their monthly rent is. It's generally going to be expressed in a 12-month lease format. There is a benefit and a financial value associated with just offering a 9-month lease, which is what most of our groups do. So those things need to be computed in, as well as similar amenities. They're not just paying rent for an apartment, they're paying utilities, internet, cleaning, those sorts of things. So if you take the monthly rent for say 10 apartments, that you do a quick average of 10 apartments, times it by 1.3 to 1.4, that is where the market is and where you should be competitive with, as some very quick and dirty benchmarks to go to. And lastly, the big thing that we recommend is that each house corporation needs to build adequate reserves. Today, chapter houses and charters are being lost, revoked by either national organizations or universities with kind of a zero trust policy, zero tolerance, that sort of thing. So you've got to have reserves to carry yourself through at least a year of difficult times. So we would recommend that you build reserves, cash reserves of at least 75% of what it will, of your annual budget to operate the chapter house. That will get you through a year because you can cut some expenses, but that will help you reestablish an income stream if you lose your group, and have the reserve so you aren't forced into selling your chapter house. That wraps it up for mine. I'm going to move on to Steve.
Thanks, Alan. So as Alan mentioned, the key thing for any property is your preventative maintenance and where you go with that as we move forward. So Alan, if you go to the next slide for me, thanks. As you know, John talked about planning and for capital expenditure or new build. Alan talked about how we finance and take care of and the financial metrics behind that. But at the end of the day, as Alan said, we've got to maintain what we have. If we're not doing that, we're going to get ourselves into a bind, and it will cost us substantially more going down the line to take care and get things caught up. Inevitably, we'll walk into a property and find years, if not decades, of deferred maintenance. And one recent example was a 10-year-old boiler that should have been easily repaired. We were told we needed to replace it because there had never been any preventative maintenance done on this particular boiler. That boiler should have lasted at least 20 years. And here we are now replacing a very expensive piece of equipment just because there was no preventative maintenance over several years. So, you know, you've got really three basic areas that we look at. Mechanical systems, which includes your plumbing, electrical, HVAC, boilers, anything that has to do with the operational side of the house. Then the building envelope, making sure that the building is secure and dry and is protected against the elements. And then finally, just regular scheduled maintenance. Again, going back to what Alan said about every 5 to 7 years, we need to be repainting, recarpeting, taking care of the things that will wear out over a short period of time, and making sure that we're properly and adequately accounting for that. So those items are all very, very important in our process of what we do. And that's just a very brief list. We have a 3-page list of items that we're looking at houses from a preventative maintenance and routine maintenance standpoint all the time. And then the why is, again, going back to what Alan mentioned, it's much more expensive to repair or in the case of this 10-year-old boiler, replace equipment that's not been properly maintained. It will reduce your unexpected repair expenses by keeping everything in a good place. Allows you to keep the uptime on the equipment going. Certainly, you don't want boilers going down this time of the year in the northern climes. John and I might get away with it here in the South, but Alan's not going to get away with it in Michigan right now. So it is a challenge to keep this equipment up and running, and preventive maintenance is the best way to do that. It'll also extend your life expectancy. Any equipment that's taken good care of, I'm sure that as my counterparts do, we see equipment that's well maintained that lasts way beyond what you would expect. And in fact, you end up, I looked at some boilers this week that are just getting so old that you can't find parts for them anymore. That's what we're talking about when we talk about extending life expectancy. And then maintaining the competitiveness of the house. Building a house and just letting it sit there for 20 years or renovating a house and then not touching it again for another 15 years are not good ways of maintaining your competitiveness with your property against your peers on campus. And we're big advocates.
Couple minutes, fellas.
Yep. And we are big advocates as well that when a house is well taken care of, your tenants are going to take care of it too. And so we encourage everyone to do this to make sure, and hopefully it will help you to provide a better living environment for your students, for your members. As we like to say, a poorly maintained house almost always equals a poorly performing chapter. It's very rare to find a great chapter in a poor house. So with that, Ethan, I think we are wrapped up.
Very good. We have just a few minutes. If there's some quick questions, we can help with that. We're going to have to break off in just a few minutes, though, to welcome the next group in. Any quick questions from the gallery? All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.